All right, Charles, the beginning of lobster season tomorrow. We're gonna go out and check some of our spots so we can get an early start and load up.
That's right, we're heading out of the Keys today. Leaving the real deal behind and the Pathfinder behind, but we're taking out the 32. Gonna see what we can do, check our spots a little bit.
Maybe get some hogfish.
Yeah.
Before they get all spooked, we'll do a little bit of hog dogging. Got some live crabs and some shrimp. We'll give it a try.
That's right. We just got to our first spot out here, guys, and it is just absolutely crystal clear. You can see the fish from the boat. I don't even think we have to get in today.
Yeah. Hey, look, there's a little baby sea turtle right there swimming across. See him?
Oh, it might be hard to see.
Let me get over to him a little bit.
It's crazy that we can even see him from the surface. Right there.
Got him?
Yeah. Little guy.
Yeah, look at that.
Too cool.
Going right across the sand there.
I am excited to get in. It is scorching hot out here, and we're just ready to get in. I think do a little bit of lobstering, look around at least, check some spots for opening day, and maybe get some dinner out of it. Some hogfish, some grouper. What do you think?
Yeah. Let's get it.
Let's do it. Check out this reef, and this is just from the surface, guys. This is crystal clear.
10 foot deep.
Do some scouting here for see if there's any lobster in there, and maybe there's some hogfish and grouper hanging around. We could probably see them from the surface today, which is pretty neat. It's not every day you get conditions like this, so we're gonna try and make the most of it. Super cool.
So we're gonna have a big old weight, get it down there to them, and a big piece of 150 pound test so you can drag them out of those rocks, because as soon as they eat, they're gonna go right back to their house and hopefully not cut you off, so we can try to force them out. Get them away, get them out of the rock. Using that light leader to just snap off in any of that rock once we get them in there. That'll be our rig there. Hook a big old nasty piece of bait on there, maybe a big hunk of ballyhoo. Just send it, just kind of feed it down to them. Hopefully they'll suck it up. For a hogfish rig, we're gonna use a little bit of a lighter leader, because usually they don't go into the rocks, and a nice jig head. That way it'll be able to sink down to them. We can kind of get it in front of their faces.
Can we use a jig head and a piece of shrimp for the hogfish, or we use crabs?
We're gonna use shrimp and crabs today. I like the crabs because usually the little fish don't attack it. The little grunts and little snappers and stuff like that, a lot of times they'll pull it away and you're left with no bait with that fish just looking at the jig head.
Get our dive flag up and situated. No wind to keep it up today.
All right, let's get in the water. Check it out.
We swam around for a bit, and Eric decided to start throwing up some sand on the bottom. And what that does is it really just stirs up life on the reef and brings in all sorts of fish, from little yellowtails to mutton snapper, hogfish, grouper, anything hears that commotion, they start coming in. So we had a couple little hogfish come in right off the bat, but they weren't big enough for us to mess around with. So we swam around a little bit more, and Eric was actually able to find a nice red grouper rocked up. So he dropped the ballyhoo right to him, and he shot right out of his little house. checked it out for a second, and it didn't take much convincing for this guy, and he chomped it up real quick. Eric let him eat for a second and then went ahead and set the hook on him. He was going crazy, and so what they're trying to do is get back into their coral head and back into their house, and they're trying to use that structure to help break off the line and use that to their advantage. But luckily we were able to pull this guy out and get him up towards the boat, and we had our first grouper of the day. It's kind of funny, you can actually hear them grunting here on the surface. They make all sorts of noise, and it's pretty cool to hear them. It was a beautiful fish, so he was definitely legal. We got back in the boat, measured him up, and make sure he was good to go. But a good start to a good day, so we kept on moving. So now that we had the grouper in the boat, we had to go find some hogfish. So we found this little guy hanging out, and Eric dropped the crab right down to him and tried to get a better look at him. You have to really pay attention to these guys when they're eating them, because sometimes they'll have that hook in their mouth and just not be ready. But this guy had it right in the corner, so Eric decided to set the hook nice and quick and was able to pull this guy out with little to no trouble. The hogfish tend to be in the sea fans and the open areas, so it wasn't too big of a deal getting this guy out. But he wasn't the size that we were looking for, so we had to keep going and find another one. Let this guy swim another day. So we weren't really finding any bigger sized hogs in this area, so we decided to move around a little bit. But we were out there originally scouting for lobster, and luckily there was a good amount of lobster on the reef, so we weren't really worried about spending more time doing that, just checking our spots for opening day. We ended up finding a nice hog sitting by himself in the sand there, and Eric got the crab down to him right before I could even start recording, and he took it without hesitation and got up to the surface, and that was a nice one to get in the boat. Needless to say, we were pretty happy with how our day was going so far. We got the nice grouper in the box, finally got our nicer sized hogfish, got him in the boat, measured him, made sure he was good to go, and threw him on ice, and we were ready to find the next spot and see what else we could do. So this fish right here is exactly why I love yo-yoing. Just comes out, takes that bait right away, hook right in the corner of his mouth, set the hook, and he just goes crazy. He's doing everything he can to get back into that coral head, but luckily we got that really heavy 150-pound leader, and you need it for this because it is just brute strength, you versus the fish. And I think that's one of the reasons I love yo-yoing so much, is because we have all these fancy fishing rods and reels and all this fancy tackle that we use anymore, but getting in the water with the fish and being able to feel their mannerisms and see how they eat and how they hunt, and just being able to battle with him one-on-one is such a cool experience, and it's why it's one of my favorite ways to fish down here in the Florida Keys. So being able to bring home a nice grouper like this to have for dinner along with some hogfish is really nothing better.
Well, that was an awesome day. Crystal clear, got some nice groupers, some hogfish.
Saw a couple of big ones, didn't get them to eat, but
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Yep, we're gonna head in now and get the boat washed up and clean some fish. So that's happening.
Yep.
right, guys, so we just got back to the dock here, unloading our catch.
Couple of fishes.
Not a bad haul for the day. I think it was a pretty good day.
Not a bad haul for a lobster scouting trip.
That's right. Could have been a
Got
lot
some grouper
worse.
fingers.
That is some good dinner right there.
I've not had a hogfish in 2 years.
It's been a while. For me too.
This one looks like he's got a little bit of a cheek to him. Those are, some people
meat in there.
love that meat.
Some good stuff.
All right.
Start cleaning them up here. But again, guys, we appreciate you guys following along. It's always a good time filming these videos for you and getting to do this stuff. We love it, and we're glad to bring you guys along.
Make sure you like and subscribe so we can keep going.
Yeah, we're gonna have more and more videos. Got a bunch of cool ideas for you guys, so we're excited to film them. But make sure you stay tuned and catch us in the next video.
All right.
We're drifting apart.